to family, I know that with my daughter, I always thought that her bipolar, her disorder came more from her mom's side. But once it all started and I started thinking back, I realized, hey, wait, I have a father that tried to commit suicide back in the days, and everybody claimed because he was in love with my mom, and no, there must have been something else. And then I had a sister that tried to kill herself too, and she was never diagnosed. So when it comes to everybody, can you see now back and see your two families and kind of see where the connection might be, if it's family related or?
Me personally, no. As far as I know, I don't have any family members that suffer from a mental illness.
Answering that question and putting it in a general aspect, it really depends on the person and what they experience and what they deal with, either in school or at home or growing up. I know for me, I know there's a lot of actually more severe mental illness, like paranoia, schizophrenic, hearing voices. I tend to get the less harsh ones, and it's a mixture of yes and no. Sometimes it's part of the family, sometimes it's not. It really depends on the person and what they experience with as they're growing up. And ultimately, I think, what did you mean? I think Ariana should actually answer that question, because she may be able to tell you how she got it and what she feels about it.
My sister does struggle with mental illness. She has bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, and she's my half sister though. For my mother's side of the family, it's hard to determine because they're all from the Philippines, immigrated into the U.S., and mental illness was not a subject in the Philippines. Then my other side of the family in the U.S., African American, mental illness amongst the African American community ever spoke about their feelings and emotions, or if they were going through anything. But I think there was talking to them. Family reunions. I mean, that's I know something's up with you. With our family, I do see a lot of different family members who have gone through things. I don't know exactly what they've gone through, so I'm not sure if they almost exactly, because can't never be exact, relate to mine. I do feel that I got some from my family, but then I also feel like there's another part that it just happened.
I'm more afraid of passing something on. I think I read somewhere I had to take a parenting class or a family class for NAMI for my job, and one day we were talking about medication and illnesses being hereditary, and I think there's a 1 in 4 chance my children will be depressed, so that's kind of scary. Like I said, mental illness in general, it can be environmental factors, and then it can also be that chemical imbalance, and hopefully once they map the human genome, they'll be able to see what gene it's on, or also make medication more personalized to the person, because right now medication is just pretty trial and error. Yeah.
I've got a question. One of the things that I've been very concerned about is the ways in which we talk about mental illness or not. In your efforts to demystify, what I've been continually thinking about is the way that we talk about mental illness in a kind of dismissive way. And I seem to be on a journey, having learned from reading something authored by one who is differently able, that the language that we use about crazy and stupid and mental, or somebody, my OCD is acting up, that in many ways it becomes quite dismissive. And I'm wondering, how do you respond when you hear someone using language that can be about one's mental state? Does that in any way matter? Do you think about that, or is it something that just a few people are concerned about? relative to trying to demystify and get people to really understand that your language can reflect how you think or don't think. So I guess the question is about ableist language and the ways in which that has become so normalized. Is that a part of the demystification also?
With what type of business I'm wanting to get out there and the different training that I want to provide, the business I'm creating it because of my past. Being able to take my past as a negative and flip it into a positive, a whole another 180. I know that when I'm in contact with my support system, I've learned that, for example, everyone's crazy. Just the question is, are you insane? Without me putting in different slogans and flipping into a 180, maybe 5 years ago, if they were to say I'm crazy, I would take it as a negative. Because it goes along the lines of telling them you can't do this. People saying you are this because of this issue. It goes with the labels, going with being supportive instead of not doing what we need to overcome things we need to. A lot of the times, for me, I take everything literal because of the different ways I've learned things. That something so small, I turn into something so big. And my friend that's here with me today, he's very literal. So that's where him and I are able to get along. But there's also other times where he's very, very literal, well, all I want is a yes or no. And so, just the different things that I've talked about, it really depends on that situation. It depends on what's going on. It depends on, am I stressed or am I okay? It depends on, okay, I'm fine, but I'm not fine. Like, physically I'm fine, but mentally sometimes it's a lot more struggle. So for me, it just depends on each variable from it.
Personally, when I do hear people around me that say things like "that's crazy" or "stupid," it's like the R word I don't say, or say, "Oh, my OCD is acting up," or I kind of just dismiss it only because I know they're saying such things because they're not educated on it, and I know they obviously don't know better because if they did, they would not use such terms. The only time I do get offended when people do